St. Peter's Square is where Pope Francis was last seen alive just yesterday during an Easter Sunday appearance. It's a spot where people would hope to get a glimpse or be in the presence of the Pope. And a couple right here at Fox 13 was lucky enough not only to get a glimpse of Pope Francis, they were able to shake hands with the late pontiff. Evan Axelbank is here to talk about that. Evan, thanks for being with us this morning.
It's always good to be here on a good day.
I had a chance to look at some of these pictures and they're amazing. So what was it like?
Well, first of all, I've had the chance to be in the presence of lots of political leaders here in the United States. This is not that. This is different. He makes so much time for people. This is an event that we went to where you could, as long as you came dressed appropriately, you could get to what they call a Sposi Novelli ceremony, it's called.
And that's
Haley, right? That's Haley Hinds, right? Incredible. And basically what it is a chance for you to have your marriage, your newly wed marriage blessed by the Pope himself. And so we went there, and after he did a papal message, you can line up, and the Pope then makes time for each couple who was there. There are maybe about 50 or 75 couples or so. And this is after he shook hands with about 200 to 300 about 2.5 hours he spent there shaking hands with hundreds of people. And so he makes time for you. And this was not a quick, sort of drive-by like a politician here might do, with all due respect to politicians here in the United States. But he has a different job. He meets with every single person who's there to see him. He shook hands.
For hours.
For hours, 2.5 hours. One anecdote, he not only had big hands, he had very soft, welcoming hands. This was somebody who spent a lot of time worrying about the poor, people who were sort of on the outs of society. He would go, as you know, and wash their feet and spend time with them and bless them. And you could very much feel that this was the same man who was used to doing those sorts of things.
Was there anything that surprised you and Haley in the presence of him, apart from?
In terms of, well, I think it was important to note that the length of time that he spent. He spent maybe about 30 to 40 seconds with us, which when you're meeting hundreds of people, that's a long time. And
what did he sound like? What's it like to
talk to him? It's a good question. His voice was very soft. He said something to the effect of, to the people next to us, "I need you to pray for me." It was a very sort of warm way of saying we're all praying for each other.
Yeah.
So I was surprised that he was willing to spend that much time with each person.
That's beautiful.
And there were people who brought, I mean, thankfully we didn't have any very serious things to bring there, but people brought very serious prayers there. People were sick and people needed help, and people go through all sorts of things. And meeting the Pope was meaningful for us, but if you're going through something truly terrible, it means that much more.
For this particular Pope who blessed your marriage, which, what an honor, what an incredible life memory. When you and Haley found out, what were your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I'm a bit of an outsider because I'm not of the Catholic faith. So I had to remember that I was in some ways a guest on their terrain. Haley, of course, is. I was a guest on their terrain, and knowing that we were going to be blessed by a world leader, someone who spends so much time thinking about how to make other people's lives better, that was really meaningful for us because we were just starting out as a married couple, and there's all sorts of sort of hectic things that you have to do. But this really was a moment that we could spend with each other, with a world leader, with a religious leader, and know that we were going to sort of have a peaceful time with him was just a really special thing.
Yeah.
It was a really remarkable moment. And he comes and looks you right in the eye, and he grabs your hands with big, soft hands. It was really just a wonderful moment. And he's such a kind-hearted, sweet man, and you can feel, you can see there, and we should point out that, notice that no one had their phones out. That's because I don't think they want people with their phones. They want people to be respectful of the moment. And so there, you can see there are their professional photographers taking pictures. And it was just special to be there.
That's incredible. Thank you so much for being on with us.
It's good to see you. I love being on the Good Day Tampa Bay with you.
It's a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing it.